Right.
Don't mind me, I'm dying over here.
We are live. Wow.
Merry Christmas,
To be fair,
children.
Sweating my
we were on
fucking
time.
paint off.
We were just discussing things off the record, but we were here on time. So.
Merry Christmas Eve.
Oh yes, Merry Christmas Eve to those who celebrate, or
Holy.
those who just have a day off and just are benefiting from that. Wonderful. Happy for you.
And, happy whatever day this is to just anybody who survived 2023, a traditionally really shit year.
Yes.
Yeah, it was. I mean, like, I feel like every year has its ups and downs, right? And I feel like sometimes we can concentrate more on the bad shit, and I have a bad habit of doing that too. But I feel like I got some good things going in 2023, and I think 2024 maybe is just going to be more of like forward motivation for that. But I feel like I got some good ideas and a good foundation of shit in 2023. I feel like I got my shit kind of
Well,
figured
I'm
out.
happy for you because this is like one of the worst years of my life.
I can understand that, especially like with the the Actors Guild strikes and everything, because you were, really set into the, the film thing. You were really rocking and rolling with
Honestly,
it, and it
it's
kind of set you
just
back.
so much more than that. Like it's that and honored other things that I'm not going to get into because I try really hard not to air my personal shit on the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's been a real shit one there, but
So what? Okay, so maybe we could do like a yearly recap. Was there anything good that happened from this year though?
I got a cool new job. I don't even think I've talked about it on the podcast yet. But yeah, I went from literally not knowing like what the fuck I was going to do to finding a halfway decent place of employment. I may be surrounded by Trump supporters and idiots, but hey.
You take what you can get at this point.
Exactly. It's a nice paycheck, and that's all that matters at this point.
God, kill me.
Oh, Tetra Brighton is in the chat. So,
Tetra
Hey,
Brighton!
Tetra.
yes, belated solstice as well. I just think like it's always the solstice. In the month of December, it's just the solstice the entire month of December, as far as I'm concerned. Hello. Oh, Chris is here too. Hello, Chris. How are you?
Hi, sweetie.
I wasn't sure if who
Hello.
would be joining on a Christmas Eve recording session, but it just so happened to fall on our typical Sunday, and we have the time to do
Yeah,
it.
and it's
So
like
here we are.
I already wrapped all my presents.
it's not like it's the evening of Christmas. It's Christmas Eve's afternoon.
Right. And it's the Lord's Day.
Oh, fuck that.
Oh, you were showing the presents and the.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. We got some presents. I wanted to do a little bit more presents this year for like my cousin's kids, because she's got like younger kids. But I had a $500 medical bill slam me at the exact same time of the holidays, and I was like, all right, these
Merry
kids
fucking
ain't getting
Christmas.
shit for Christmas. They all are gonna get a New Year's
Me.
gift.
Ow.
Yeah, and I was like, ouchies. Yeah, it was the fucking, I guess, whatever I had to pay for my copay for this fucking device that I had when my foot was healing. It was the fuck was
Oh
it called? A bone
yeah.
Bone
stimulator.
stimulator.
Yeah, it was a bone stimulator.
We got to keep
Gotta
it
love the
greased.
modern medical American system. Hey, so we didn't let you die, and we could have, so you owe us, pay us.
Right. But yeah, so
It's like,
anyway,
man,
they were like, Merry Christmas, here's a $500 medical bill due right in the middle of December. So any Christmas presents that
Fuck
you
you.
wanted to buy, not happening. Or you'll use your credit card,
that's
which I
fucking
fucking
satanic,
refuse to
man.
do. Yeah, it's just evil. Anyway, so the evil medical system kind of fucked me into that. But we have a nice little bit of presents over there. So we're going to Rue's mom's later. Good. I wanted to try and be more festive this year, and I was a little bit like more when we went to the Parade of Spirits because I got all dressed up and whatnot.
Looking fabulous.
Fabulous. But yeah, like in the house, I just didn't get the house like really decorated or anything like. Didn't get around to it.
No time, no energy, no nothing.
Also, that
We had a wonderful time
Mm.
at our solstice retreat last weekend.
Oh yeah,
that was just a week ago. That feels like a lifetime ago.
Which unfortunately, half of us got COVID.
Yep. But it was a great time with South Street Circle. Shout out to Jim and Aaron and Lexa and Vincent. And those are all the ones that got sick with Corona.
Shout out to the ones who got sick. Sorry about
shout
that.
out to the ones who got sick. Shout out to Alex who rode with us, and we had such a wonderful time. But yeah, it was nice. I saw a bright, glowy deer in the woods and a face in the fire. And I don't know if that was magic or I was just high. Because Jay couldn't see either.
Yeah. But either way, it was an experience. And I got to tend the fire all night. So that was fun. I got to cook a ham over fire. It's funny about me. I don't really like cooking like normally, right? Like every day to day. But like in a camping situation, I'm like, yeah, let's cook shit over a fire. I want to cook everything on fire.
It's just a better way to live, to be honest.
It
like
just tastes better.
I'm gonna be real. Like, I don't fit well in a modern setting. I don't. My body slows down massively in the winter because I'm supposed to be fucking not necessarily hibernating, but being in something similar to bears called torpor, which is like where you're not necessarily sleeping the whole time, but you're conserving energy and like waking up and rolling around and taking pisses and stuff. But like, I'm not supposed to be fucking working in the winter. I'm supposed to be taking her easy, you know? I'm not supposed to be out here fucking running myself ragged, doing endlessly repetitive tasks, you know? I'm supposed to be doing like a bunch of different jobs that are required to like sustain the multi-complex needs of living, whether that's like carrying water or chopping wood, and all of them are different tasks that come together to build a healthy style of living instead of just like fucking breaking me down, you know? And it's like I fucking hate cooking in a kitchen because I have a lot of like trauma associated with like family and kitchens and like modern cuisine. And a lot of modern cuisine is just like way overcomplicated in flavors for me. Like a lot of sauces are too much.
I'm like, just stick a hot dog on a stick and put it over the damn fire.
It's not like I'm not that bitch who's like, I don't like flavor, but like I'm not that person who's like, oh yeah, like I need like the bruschetta and this and this and this and this. Like, just like, no.
Don't come at me with the bruschetta.
Look,
it runs in my blood.
If I wanted to come at you, I'd talk about charcuterie.
No.
We were just talking about a charcuterie board yesterday.
Yeah. Fucking Katie came over and she came. I love when Katie stops over. Like, she will literally stop over my house just to talk shit. Like, on, just, shit going on in our personal circles and whatnot. Or like talk shit about her mom's bullshit or whatever. But,
of course.
But she will literally drive over my house just to talk shit. And it is just like such a good time. And she was talking about, so what was it, her partner had tasked her with the mission of going out to a grocery store the day before Christmas Eve to get stuff to make a charcuterie board.
Oh my god.
And we were just like, good luck with that.
Can I tell you a secret? I hate charcuterie.
It's not for everyone. It's definitely not for everyone.
Horrible. You have like pungent cold meats that I don't like meat just being like cold and floppy and overly powerful. I want meat. I want it to be like a little bit like maybe not crunchy on the outside.
You don't really like salamis and pepperoni and like stuff like that.
No.
Yeah, it's not your thing.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, gross.
I'm just over here dying. Don't mind me.
The Italian is
and
slowly
then y'all
disintegrating.
have like fucking blue cheeses and shit, and I'm like, you
I
know.
I really only eat like blue cheese with like wings, like something hot, because it counterbalances the spice. Like if I'm eating like spicy
It
wings or something.
stinks.
But yeah, there is a stinkiness to it. I will say, like, I'm very like in the middle when it comes to cheese, right? Like I could take it or leave it because I am lactose intolerant, so I have like a threshold of like the amount of cheese that I can put in my body before I
Yeah,
die.
you're what I call variable lactose intolerance, which is the same as me, which
Yeah.
means that you're lactose intolerant, but you have a small threshold that you can take because your body processes it at an extremely slow rate. So, like, if you just eat a little bit of hard cheese that doesn't really have lactose in it, like, fuck, you're fine.
Yeah.
Butter doesn't do shit to me. Butter is fine.
But a bowl of ice cream?
If I cross, oh, I'm fucked.
Yeah.
Or like eating. I can have. There's like I think I calculated how many creamsicle bars I can have before I have to shit my brains out the next day.
How
One
many
is
is it?
fine. Two is pushing it. You eat three, you're fucked.
Yeah, you're doomed.
That's me
Maybe
with
if you're lucky and you space them out, you can handle three. You eat that fourth one, there is no coming back from it. You're
Nope.
done.
That's how I learned I was lactose intolerant, because I used to be able to just literally have a dinner of cheese and dairy and just
A glass
no
of milk and
problem.
followed up with a bowl of ice cream and
Like straight up, like just dairy after dairy after dairy after dairy. And then it wasn't until I met this horrible man that my body decided to be like, no. And it was while eating a pint of Ben and
Look,
Jerry's. I used to be able to eat a whole pint of Ben and Jerry's, no issue. Now, if I do more than like half, problems. Bad. Without some
all right.
lactate, no good.
I'm gonna be wretched here, but I don't care. Um, Anybody else who's lactose intolerant get the lactose farts? Yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
yeah.
It's like
Oh, it's
you can smell
gnarly.
your body ain't processing it, and you're like, oh, they have like a smell to them. Let's just
Yeah.
say, not to gross out anybody who's listening, but like if you're lactose intolerant, you can feel it and you can smell it.
That is something.
Oh,
So
yeah.
if you're not sure if you're lactose intolerant or not, I never like got tested or anything like that. I just literally was like, "Oh my god, I ate some dairy, I ate some ice cream, and now I feel like my gastrointestinal system is about to explode." And so
Yeah, your GI tract is like fucking stressed out to the point of like meltdown.
yeah, so if you eat dairy and then a little bit later or instant, like it depends how quickly it reacts for you, but if you feel it a little bit later, and if you have some particularly toxic gas coming out of your body, then yeah, you might be lactose intolerant. And
Yeah, and
lactate
like
is a
I feel
very
like
cool
people.
thing.
If it works for you.
Oh, it doesn't work for you.
I feel it. I feel like it doesn't make a big difference when I eat a bunch of dairy. If I'm just being honest, I mean, maybe it does. I don't know. I'm not the queen of dairy shits, but yeah, I haven't found a great big benefit from lactate personally. But that's just me. Um, but yeah, no, you know if it's not for you. But anyways, let's stop grossing people out. Huh?
As we're in the season of eggnog, but they do make.
Oh,
I
fuck
have seen
me.
dairy-free eggnog out there. I think even Lactate brand, I think they make an eggnog, so it does exist. It's expensive as fuck, so but treat yourself because it's the holidays.
I really don't
Our
fuck with
milk costs
eggnog either.
$7 a gallon, and I have accepted that. That I have to pay $7 for
Yeah,
milk so that my bones don't crumble.
right.
You could just cut somebody's head off.
We could do that. It's like
Yeah, I think
messy.
That works.
guillotines, it's an alternative paying method that not a lot of people have heard of. But you get a guillotine card, which is like a specific type of blade, and like when you're checking out, you just say, "Here's my guillotine card. I'll kill your CEO if you don't let me take this food for free," and then you just walk out of the store. The cops never get called ever.
Finger guillotines.
Yeah, well, if I see a finger guillotine, I'm going to guarantee I'm not thinking about putting a finger in it.
Exactly. My thought pattern every time I pick up a cigar clipper.
I'm like, yeah, this would be real good. This would be real good at clipping a politician's dick off. Just saying.
Gosh.
What? I'm not antisocial. I just hate the bourgeois.
Is this? Oh, Chris was saying I had a roommate in college who was lactose intolerant. I wonder that my homemade chocolate powder, homemade hot chocolate powder mix had powdered milk in it, and use hot water instead of milk. Oh no.
No, that might be fine too. So lactose actually goes where the liquid is, so that's why hard cheeses tend to not set off people who have lactose tolerance issues. What ends up happening is, is that Scott?
It's a Christmas miracle.
What the fuck? First you tell us no, and then you tell us yes. I'm just glad you're here, bud.
I did say, but I did say, I was like, if you want to pop in for a minute, because I know, I think you're going to Darian's mom's or something, you said?
I am, yeah. So thankfully though, due to not like drama or anything, but like just due to like family stuff, like things getting together and stuff, like, putting things in place, I have time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I'll say this, you didn't miss much. We were talking about lactose shits.
Yeah, we're talking about being lactose intolerant.
Oh God.
Which is not fun during the holidays.
No, it's not. No. It's horrible. I remember.
Are you lactose? You're not lactose intolerant, are you?
Huh?
You're not lactose intolerant, right?
I was when I was younger.
What?
How?
The fuck is that? That's polar opposite of how it's supposed to go.
Witchcraft.
No, believe it or not, you can genetically grow out of it. Even my pediatrician used to say it.
Rue's like in a state of shock. Utter
I know.
shock.
A lot of people, a lot of my friends, especially when they're older, when they find out that like when you're born with it, a lot of people born lactose intolerant, because I used to have to be on a special formula because of my lactose intolerance. And it was expensive, and like my mom always used to bitch about it. But over the years, when you're on that special formula, you start getting older, you have a chance of growing out of it. Your body changes and you adapt. Unfortunately, what a lot of people find, especially nowadays, where you have millennials and stuff, where we start coming into it later on when you're a teenager in your early 20s, and all of a sudden you start developing lactose intolerance. Generally speaking, you kind of keep it. There's no going back the other way, apparently.
I just want a refund.
But people don't like what the solution is.
Bioengineering?
Fecal matter transplant.
Oh. Would that
They
work?
literally take a little, yes, that's the surgery that they use to make it work. They literally take a little bit of poo out of you and put it into me.
Right.
Bada bing, bada boom.
Wow.
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, I have heard that does a lot of things for like gut based stuff. It can really change your life. They did make a really funny South Park episode about it, that I did say. Which was pretty fucking great. Yeah, it was
I feel like I've been living under a rock.
It's Kyle. Kyle's the Jewish kid, right? With the mom that
Yes.
Oh yeah, Kyle's mom, right. So it was her. She got a fecal matter transplant, and it like made her lose a bunch of weight, and then all the women in the show then got fecal matter transplants.
I mean,
I swear I've watched every episode and I don't remember that.
That sounds so gross, but it's cool. I mean, like, I like the idea of it. I get it.
Hey, you don't like the lactose? You take a little poop out and put it in you. Hey, bada bing, bada boom.
It just sounds like some back alley like procedure. Like it just sounds.
It does.
It really does sound like some shady shit that like your friend named Michelle from California who like habitually wears yoga pants everywhere she goes is telling you about like the
This
new
newest
fecal
thing.
matter transplant you gotta fucking try, and you're looking at her sideways going, girl, do you hear what you're saying?
Talking to the crunchy friend like,
And the country girl's like, So you mean to tell me you're gonna take a little bit of poo from me and put it in my butt? Oh,
Crunchy, not country.
Oh.
I knew you said
Oh.
crunchy, and that's
I
why
didn't
I
know if
laughed
you heard
so
me say
hard.
country. I was like crunchy friend.
Nah, you hear what you're gonna hear, right? I'm from the country. I hear country when people say crunchy. I don't know what the fuck a crunchy. I don't even know what a crunchy friend is, anyways. Don't tell me.
Oh, okay. You sure?
I
Yeah,
want to
go for
know.
it.
I'm not in the
Okay.
know.
They're those people that's
I want to know because I'm a hermit. I don't know what that term means. What does that mean?
So crunchy moms, crunchy whatever. So crunchy
Yeah.
now means like those people that are like, I don't believe in germ theory.
Okay.
They don't think you can catch sickness. They think like sickness is something that happens due to like stress in the body.
Oh,
there's no
you
like
manifest
there's no
your own
Imbalances of the
sickness.
ickers.
Yeah,
like we're
like,
back in the 1700s.
You got demons in your blood. You
yeah,
should do cocaine
like,
about
they're
it.
that, and they're like the whole like the people that like worry about gluten even when they're not gluten
Oh,
sensitive. Like it's
yeah.
all
Oh
those
my
people,
god.
and like essential oils can cure my cancer. You know the deal.
Yeah.
My
Listen,
stepmom does that shit. She's like, I'm gluten intolerant. I'm like, girl, I have read studies that show that you're full of shit right now, but whatever. Don't give me that shit.
I mean, there are people out there. Like, if you got celiac disease, obviously,
Yep.
She does not. She does not. She does not.
And then I suppose
She's a middle-aged Karen ass white woman who probably thinks that she's saving herself weight that she's gaining from not eating whatever the fuck, and then claiming that it's for that reason. I guarantee you my stepmom does not actually have a negative effect from eating fucking glucose or gluten.
Yeah, and I
Same
think
thing.
I think you can have like a sensitivity to it or whatever. Like,
Sure, I know people who do,
totally, but
but I
like,
know my
Also, I'm
stepmom's full of
dying.
shit about it.
right? You can just kind of tell when some people are just like, I don't know, they're just being extra for
I'm
no
gluten
fucking reason.
insensitive. I'm gluten
Mhm.
intolerant, and she's eating spaghetti, and you're like, hey.
The fuck?
That's bad.
Also, I just wanted to say I'm dying over here at Tetra's comment in the chat. Crunchy folks are the ones who shop at Whole Foods. JK. No, you're exactly. You shop at Whole Foods like all the time. Like, yeah, crunchy.
There's
Crunchy
definitely
folk,
correlation
okay.
for sure.
There's a correlation, exactly. And Trader Joe's too.
And
Correlation.
Sprout, if you have Sprout.
Listen,
what is
listen,
Sprout? I heard about
don't
Sprout.
bring Joe's into this.
There's going to be a Sprouts at Roosevelt Boulevard, that new shopping center. We're going full hipster, baby.
No, fuck the Sprout.
What is it, like a cheaper Whole
It's-
Foods or more
I
expensive
gotta
Whole
Google
Foods?
it.
They're
Look-
sort of like if Whole Foods and Trader Joe's had a bebe, but the
Oh.
prices are supposed to be more Trader Joe's than they are
Whole
Whole
Foods.
Foods.
I like that. Still seems
Look,
overpriced.
I'm just gonna say it. Can we stop making new stuff, society? Jesus Christ, a lot of us can barely keep up with how much there is already, and it just doesn't stop. You keep making new terms, you keep making new foods, you keep making new things. It's like, I am new fatigued, okay? Just like, can we just like stop for like a year? Just like, don't make nothing, don't fucking put nothing in front of me, don't fucking like do anything. Just like
let's refine
just
what we
fucking
already
use
have.
what you already got.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel that way,
yeah,
like,
yeah, come on.
I used to be really into like getting the latest phone, right? Like especially like
Yeah.
with Android. I was like, oh, the Samsung this. Now I'm a Pixel guy now. But
Google
Wow,
owns
he
my
has
life.
money.
yeah. Actually no, the reason why I went Pixel is because they're fucking cheaper than the goddamn Samsung phones. Because I was looking at the like
Well, I know that. Samsungs are fucking expensive, man.
yeah, like I was looking at one. I was like, I am not spending $1,000+ on a cell phone. I'm just not doing
Yeah,
that.
fuck that.
And so the Pixels, I think the one I got was like maybe like the first one I got was like $300 or $400, like full price, and I was like, fucking right, that's what I
Mhm.
want. But so yeah, I'm a Pixel guy now. But yeah, I have a crack like on my phone, like the camera thing is just like
Mhm.
cracked. But I can't be fucking bothered. Like I could, like I do have the means, like I could go and get a new phone, whatever. But don't fucking care.
Oh yeah, get a whole new phone. Just let those kids keep slaving away mining the fucking cobalt and lithium in third world countries and replace your phone extra quick and magnify the problem simply because there's a fucking crack in the glass. God, I hate modern consumerism.
Yeah, and I'm like, I wonder if
Exactly.
I could just get that piece of glass fixed. Like, I wonder if because I
Oh,
don't even,
you
I don't,
can.
yeah, because I don't think the actual like camera lens itself is scratched or cracked. It's just the glass
Mhm.
over it. I might just look at a phone shop and be like, can you replace the glass?
Yeah.
Not to
I
totally go. Oh,
oh,
sorry.
no,
Not
you
to
go.
totally go back. I was Sprouts to whatever that
Oh, back to
conversation
Sprouts.
was. It is they offer a wide selection of natural and organic goods, including fresh produce. Blah 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 blah. Yeah, it started as a fruit stand. It's called Sprouts Farmer Market. Started in Arizona.
Food capitalism. Foodopoly.
Woo!
Cool.
Foodopoly.
Foodopoly.
Well, if we want to talk about that, let's just talk about the commodification of everything. Because what it means to commodify something is to turn it into a commodity that has to be bought and sold consistently,
Like
right?
water.
Like that's why, yeah, it's a fucking commodity at this point, right? And I want to say that sometime through the 1900s, some really rich venture capitalists realized that the most profitable thing that they could do was to price gouge people for basic necessities, because it's not like a specialty product like, say, a really nice knife or a fucking really nice hat. You're only
Mm-hmm.
going to replace that hat if you need to, and if you got a nice enough knife, fuck, you might never need to replace it, right? But you get people on high prices on their food. Well, shit, you got them every day because they got to eat fucking 15 times a week at least. You get somebody on the price of their water. Well, they're fucking beheld to you because they literally can't exist without that substance, right? And so that's why capitalism is not to say it wasn't evil before, because it was always evil and it was always building up towards this type of bullshit, but back in the fucking day, you could still just fucking dig a well and drink your own goddamn water, right? Now you can't even fucking do that because they polluted the groundwater, right? Everything leads into capitalism becoming the source of all the ills and then sold as the solution to us, right? When we're literally letting people socially engineer our society to maximize the amount of human suffering so that they can maintain an unfair advantage over other human beings as long as humanity exists, because that's their goal. Let's be real. Rich people don't need this much money so that they can buy stuff. They need this much money so that you don't have it and they can pass it on to their descendants and they can keep their family rich until the end of fucking time, just like the kings always wanted, right? Because it's always about making sure that one small group of people are running shit and everybody else is fucking beheld to their interests. That's why capitalism goes that way. That's why white supremacy goes that way. All of it. It's all the same shit. You know what I mean? Anyways, Enrand.
Hell yeah.
And all very linked to each other. They all feed each other.
Mm-hmm. Fuckers.
Yeah, I actually have, I guess, a similar issue.
Mm.
My SIM card in my brand, I just got this phone during the summer.
Mm.
I have a Google Pixel 7,
Nice.
and Google did an update,
Mm-hmm.
and apparently it started messing up people's SIM cards. People who have the Pixel 7. So the other day, my phone started acting funny, and it wouldn't connect. It connects to the internet, but not, I
The
can't
mobile.
call, I can't SMS, text. And now it's only emergency calls, no SIM,
Oh, it's just
and it
not
just
reading
scrolls
your
to the top of my
SIM.
phone. And so their update completely destroyed my brand new phone. And my mom had to call because I'm not on the. To make a long story short, my father set up the account. He's very ineffectual. Mom has to go through it because they won't talk to me. It's a whole big
Mm-hmm.
bullshit thing. Um, the lady was like, "We're gonna send you a new phone yesterday." She's like, "I have it overnighted. It'll get to you yesterday."
Mm-hmm.
Did it get here? No,
No.
not at all. It's not obviously not here today, and it definitely won't be here tomorrow.
No.
So I have a phone that I can only talk through Messenger, and the thing is, like, this phone isn't cheap.
No.
Not that like I spent a lot on it. My mom did her Italian mom thing, and like people got scared of her at the Verizon store kind of thing, and and of course I was sitting there going, "Mom,
Mom, relax.
Mom, stop!" And then she's like, "No." I was like, "Oh God." Um, but yeah, the phone's not cheap. The bill's expensive, and to go back to what Sophia was saying, instead of like offering to, I don't know, fix my damn phone, we're gonna send you a new one.
It's not a new
That
one
was
though.
Yeah.
even though my phone already is new because I just got it like in the summer.
Did
It's
they
only a
offer
few months old.
to give you a new
Huh?
SIM card?
No, they're gonna send me a whole new phone.
That's not going to be a new phone. It's going to be a refurb.
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
So you spent whatever money. That's the shit that really pisses me off. Is that you just spent X amount of money on a new phone, right? Oh, we're gonna send you a new one. You're not sending me a new one. You're sending me a refurb of someone else's problem,
Yep.
and that is what pisses me off the most. And it's like, and then I guess people could argue like, well, that's recycling, that's like good use of these devices. And I'm like, but it's not though. Like you could just set up stores that are service centers and that would give people jobs and their job could be to fix the phones. You know what I mean? Like to fix
Right.
the problem. But no,
Because
that
I actually like this thing. I would
Mhm.
rather keep the one I have because it's already
Exactly.
set to like everything in it's already to
You
my
already set it
liking.
up.
Like I don't want to have to go through that again.
I think your
Plus, I
SIM
didn't actually
card's the
know about
problem.
the refurb. Huh?
I think your SIM card's the problem. I think if you just activate a new SIM.
I honestly don't understand. Yeah, if the update was affecting people's Sims, I don't understand why they wouldn't just hold on.
That's what the lady said to my mom. She said she literally. My mom says to her what my problem was, and she goes, "Does he have a Pixel 7?"
Mm.
And she goes, "Yes." And she's like, "We're having that problem due to an update that Google sent out." And then she like, and another thing too that I always feel like, I mean, I hear it all the time, but I also kind of like, why should I have to worry about it? She was like, "You never leave on the automatic update." And I was like, if these updates were done in a way that like
It
in a
always
way that they
prompts
should be,
you.
why would you roll out an update that's going to break people's very expensive technology?
Right. That is total and utter bullshit. I used to work in the cell phone industry, and Rue did too. We both used to.
Samesies.
Yep, we both worked in the fucking industry. All of what they told you was a
Long time
complete.
ago in the age of contracts.
Yeah, it was a complete lie. All of that is a lie. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure that Google released an update that did X amount. Yeah, updates roll out and they bork people's phones all the time. That's the shit part. But on the part of the cell phone provider, like they don't want to hear
They
you
could have just gave you
complain.
a new SIM
I
card
think a
and it
new
would have
SIM
been
would be
fine.
fine. I thought, yeah, that's what I would have tried first, rather than sending out a whole new device.
Right. And like that's like, like 'cause there are two options where follow these ridiculous like, go into the settings
Yeah,
and do the network reset thing.
yeah.
Did
Or
that
even if
like
you, did you restore it to factory settings?
no,
Because
there's
that
this
could also be something I would try too. Just wipe the phone, reset it, and then. But you got to make sure
Yeah,
your
it's
stuff's
it
backed up.
seems really it seems really backwards to send hardware to replace a software issue.
Mm-hmm. But that's Mercury retrograde for you.
I swear.
Is it?
Yeah, until the first.
Oh,
Yeah.
that makes sense with all the bullshit happening in my life. That's right. If I'm not telling you about my personal problems on the podcast, it's because they're so bad I don't want to talk about them.
Ole.
Chris was saying that iPhone has a new update that makes your phone automatically share your name with other nearby. What? Hold on. I'm going to drag this to this screen. Automatically share your name
Like,
with other nearby iPhones with this update, and you have to manually shut it off.
we're living in a tech dystopia. I'm just going to call it. We have no fucking oversight because our politicians are old and stupid and bought out and unwilling to do anything. And we have new stuff being invented constantly that's driving up human misery rates massively. And these old fucking bastards don't care about anybody but themselves, and they get kickbacks from these corporations. We're already in a fucking cyberpunk techno dystopia. It just comes without cool implants and upgrades. It just means that we all suffer under fucking modern neo-feudalism while fucking big tech companies roll out policies that affect everybody's fucking lives that nobody consents to. We need to have a say in how our fucking society is run when such a small minority of people control so much. Like, it's out of control. It should have happened fucking 10, 20 years ago that we redistributed this shit. But we're just letting these fucking Elon Musk dickbag motherfuckers who have no talent, no brains, just buy shit up and dictate world policy. Let's just fucking kill them already. Fuck.
I
Anyways.
need
Drop
I
the
need
mic.
I need to learn how to sew and send Sophia like Victorian like proper women's garb, the petticoat, and I need to like get like a soapbox, like an old wooden soapbox,
Right.
and just like put her somewhere in like a town square, somewhere where she is, and be like, go
Listen to
for
me.
it. With a bell. She has to have like a
Yes.
bell in hand.
Society's
Ding, 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 ding.
Hear
Why
ye,
do we
hear
all
ye.
agree to consent to a society that makes us suffer? If nothing's fair, why do we do anything? What the fuck are you doing? I scream that at people constantly.
I would like to
Hey,
believe
anger's
that
a gift.
I would like to believe in the following like we're talking about it now. It will only continue to get louder and louder and louder and louder. Change like this happens incredibly slow. And this is me saying it, Mr. Aries, Mr. Fire Sign, who wants everything to happen right now.
Well, change is slow until it's fast, right? Like, things weren't changing, and then, oh boy, COVID hit, and everything fucking changed overnight into a cyberpunk dystopia.
But look at how we're back right to it, though. Like, COVID policies are gone. Like,
It depends where you are.
I would say that COVID policies are gone because, like, I use Philly as, like, an example because it's a super liberal city. We were, like, hardcore, like, COVID is real, get your shit together kind of city. And we have no COVID policies anymore. They're all gone. So, like, it's come to work if you're still sick. You can still go to the doctor if, like, go about your life even if you are positive. It really just doesn't fucking matter anymore. That's the
well, we
shitty
are
part.
starting to build up a bit of a fucking herd immunity. Not to say that we actually have herd immunity, because that's different, but like, COVID isn't killing people in the mass numbers that it used to be. Yeah,
Right.
it does kill people still, but flu kills people still, and we've been mitigating that for fucking hundreds of years. So
So
That's true.
yeah, so I mean, I do see that, like, it seems that the strains are, like, they're more contagious, more infectious, but not as deadly. And so
yeah,
I guess we just
And
have
that's
to.
why it's endemic and not a pandemic
Yeah.
anymore.
And that's why all
and
the
that's
policies are gone.
and don't listen to us too much. We're not virologists, like, there's people more
Yeah.
educated on this subject.
I
Who
work in a
knows?
recycling warehouse.
Like, the shit could ramp up and, I don't know, decide to wipe us all out. I really have no idea. It's like Sophia said, we're not experts on
Look,
this.
I'm gonna reiterate to the same thing that I say to everybody with the doomsday theory. We're not that lucky. Come on, think about the world we live in. Do you really think you're going to be granted release from this suffering so simply? Come on. Everyone, and every time I say that to somebody, their eyes go wide and they go, "Oh no, she's right."
Well, I think what it is for me is, like, even in an apocalypse scenario, not every person is gone, right? So it's just one
Of
world
course.
ended and a new one started. Like I always think of that show that Rue showed me, fucking The Strain. Like once
I mean,
those nukes
Such a
get
good
set
show.
off, right? It's like
Not really,
not
but
everyone dies. Not everyone vaporizes into particles and that's it. It's like, well, now there's just this is what we're doing now. This is how
I
we're
want to make a point
surviving.
about this too. Multiple apocalypses have already occurred
Mhm.
in this world and are occurring right now, but because it's not a white-centered one, a lot of the Western world will fail to recognize it as such unless like the white colonial structure falls apart, right? So it's not an apocalypse if, you know, like Gaza's getting bombed and people there are getting removed from existence, because it is an apocalypse for them, right?
Mhm.
Um but we don't view it as that because we don't really want to engage with the severity of the situation, you know? We really kind of want to play the, oh, you know, it's not that bad, or, oh, you know, they're still going to survive. But it's like, no, like indigenous people in like Turtle Island had a fucking apocalypse before,
Mhm.
or like when settlers showed up, because like
That's an
so much of
apocalypse, yeah.
like the old way of, there's so much of the old way of living in the old world is just gone, you know?
Mhm.
Like there's traditions and there's cultures that still carry on in their traditional ways, and I love that. But like let's not act like colonialism didn't do its best to wipe absolutely everything out, right? So
Mhm.
like multiple apocalypses have occurred and are continuing to occur, but it's just that they're not framed within like the Western settler colonial apocalypse of like the modern capitalist
Like
state. And
bombs
I
go
think
off,
that's
everyone
kind of the rub.
dies. Yeah.
Yeah, because and that's the thing is like this also ties into how like people can literally conceive of the end of the world easier than they can conceive of the end of modern capitalism and white supremacy, because it just feels so incredulously unbelievable,
Well,
which is a
also
problem in and of itself.
I think sometimes people default to this like, all right, well, if we just have an apocalypse, right? You know, bombs go off, bunch of people die. It's like a reset, right? It's like a reset. You know, you just like Thanos. You know what I mean? And it's like, well, it
That's
doesn't
just climate
really.
fascism though.
Right, and it's like it doesn't really work that way. It's like I get what you're trying to say, but there is no way to just reset society. You have to like rewire more than
There's a way
reset.
to reset society. You know what you do? You kill Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, and the top 10 billionaires, and you redistribute the wealth.
Or just launch them out into
Absolutely.
space. Launch them out there.
I mean,
Good luck,
that's
guys.
that's a waste of perfectly good resources and a high addition of carbon to the atmosphere that we don't necessarily need. I'm telling
It
y'all,
could be
the
like
most
one
efficient
last
use of
hurrah.
billionaires is compost, right? Like it's childish. We're not going to eat them. It's bad for you. You can get prions. You can turn into a cannibalistic monster. Like that's just nonsense. What you can do with the rich that's really useful is compost the motherfuckers, right?
Yes, we have an episode titled "Compost the Rich." I have no idea which number
Yeah.
it is, but it's a good one.
It's
I don't even know what anything is anymore. I'm just living in a fucking blur of like disassociated capitalism now. It could be episode 2 for all I know.
It was weird. What did we go out looking for? Something Christmas related, and like all the Christmas things were gone. I forget what the hell it was. Or was it Thanksgiving? I can't remember. All I remember is me and Rue were out in a store. I think no, it was Ken. It was Ken. He was looking for Christmas decorations like a couple weeks ago. They were all gone. Like there was just it was like not even gone in the sense of like sold out, but like gone in the sense of we've moved on to the next holiday. Like we've moved on to fucking like Valentine's Day. And I was like, are you serious?
I was gonna say, y'all don't even know that like stores and warehouses aren't even ordering Christmas stuff anymore. They have pretty much sold everything they're already going to sell for Christmas, and they need to liquidate their excess stock, which is why Boxing Day exists. And then immediately after that, they're already requesting stock from their warehouses that have like Valentine's Day stuff. So, like for example, I currently work at Lush. I'm not signed to an NDA, so Lush can gargle my balls and try and stop me from saying anything I want to. I dare you. So what happens
What
is
bath bomb scent would
I can tell you that they have a Taylor Swift deal if you're a Taylor Swift fan, and they have like a New Romantics bath oil or some shit like that.
uh
Um, because I'll see a product before
I
it's
can't
actually
handle
officially
Lush
listed.
stores. Like, I walk into a Lush store and I'm like, it's just so much smell
Here's a
in
question.
one
Here's a
little
question.
space.
Here's a question. Imagine that. Now ask yourself, what does a factory/warehouse smell like?
I can only imagine. Like, do you wear a respirator?
You use no.
Well, if I may chime in, as someone who's worked in at least multiple warehouses, they don't really smell like anything. Like, it just
The Lush one does, I promise you.
Yeah, like that stuff is potent.
Yeah, Darian,
I
just from walking past the store near my therapist's office, he can go into like a whole asthma attack just from when they open up the door when the doors are open in spring
Yeah.
and summer. He's like,
Like, I get like
oh my
lightheaded
God.
What are
when
we
I
talking
walk in.
about?
We're talking about Lush
Let me
stores.
put it
Oh yeah.
let me
Yeah.
put it this way. The Lush
What?
products are all wrapped up in packing paper inside of sealed cardboard boxes. We don't open up any cardboard boxes whatsoever during the course of our day. All we do is pick them up and put them on the skid, okay? I still come home after having worked all day, sweating my ass off, and I just smell like
You
too
just
much
took a bath.
Lush. I don't know. I don't smell like I just took a bath. I smell like I fucking have been rolling around in like Lush waste product. It's potent. It's a lot. And if you're in any of the areas that actually like pack or process stuff instead of just like shipping the closed boxes, it's even more intense.
Ugh, I couldn't do it. I couldn't be working at a Lush. I'd be blacking out. I'd be like, sorry, I've died. Yeah.
Not to change topic at all, but
No, go for
can
it.
we talk
Now
about
change topic.
Threads and how horrible it is? Like as
Thank
far as
you.
like
Threads.
Threads is Instagram's answer to X or Twitter or whatever the hell. I am suggested every homophobic,
It got
transphobic,
shitty
racist.
overnight. Like, it got fucked up overnight.
So I have something here, and it freaks me out because I'll be scrolling through all my witchy stuff and my thirst traps, and then like on Instagram, and then I come to this. My heart is always heavy for the LGBTQ plus community. So much pain, occultism, anger, addiction, isolation, etc. The devil doesn't come to steal from empty houses. I believe most of the LGBTQ plus community are God's prophets, psalmists, and artisans that have been targeted by demonic agendas. Their true desire is to encounter true love. In 2024, get ready for ex-LGBTQ to flood our churches. Leaders be equipped to handle this assignment. Discipleship is mandatory. We cannot preach from pulpits of stardom, whatever the hell that means. And then someone asked this person,
This
do you
sounds
accept
unhinged.
LGBTQ people? Oh, I know, completely.
Unhinged.
Do you accept LGBTQ people who, like, for who they are and how they express their sexuality, or do you love the sin or hate the sin? This person then responds to that person, your sexuality is not who you are. They are God's children. There's their identity, and any other identity is false. And that's just one of, like, literally, if I go, oh, it disappeared.
Yeah, it was weird this morning. I opened up. So I've been on Threads. Not to be like, I've been on Threads since it started, but I was kind of on Threads when it first, like, once I first got that notification, I was like, all right, let me check this out. And it was nice. It was a lot of like-minded people, like the circles were good, that people formed and whatnot. It was cool. And then really these past couple weeks, especially overnight, like I woke up this morning and I was like, I had to block 3 fucking accounts this morning. Because that's what I do on Threads.
Jesus.
Like if someone is just like spouting like anti-trans, fuck the witches, I'm like, just get out of here. I don't need to see that.
Okay.
That's not what I want to see.
I gotta ask, because I asked earlier, what is Threads?
Threads is it's like a Twitter alternative, but it's run by Zuck instead of Musk. It's Zuck's
Right.
people.
Look, does anything good happen on any Twitter or Twitter alternative? I'm asking for a friend.
No.
No, because the
No.
one I had before that was like I keep seeing this one person, Folo something, I forget now, but he's one of those like Hotep people. I don't know if you. I think we've talked about that
Oh, I
before.
know what a hotep is.
And he was talking about how porn should be illegal, witchcraft should be illegal,
Ugh.
tarot cards should be illegal. What else should be illegal?
Just why don't you just go stick your dick in a vice instead of telling other people what they should do with their life? Fuck.
It's so like, and the thing is too is that I've noticed, because it's not just on Threads anymore, but I feel as if like someone said and I believe this, that Threads became what it is now because that weird social media site for conservatives didn't do well. I forget what that was called.
Oh yeah.
No, not Blue Sky.
No.
Parlor.
Parlor.
That's it. Parlor fell apart,
Yeah.
and they needed somewhere to go, and
Somewhere with a good
they went to
infrastructure.
Threads. They went to Threads instead, and like the
It took
thing
them a
is
while
that
though.
like, yeah,
Because they were hanging out. They were on Twitter, but then I feel like a lot of them went from Parler back to Twitter because once Musk was running it, everyone was like, "Yeah, we can be fucking assholes," and so
um,
But now they're on Threads, and I don't
but
like
now
it.
there's like, I was just telling my mom, I said there's this big push now, and I see it on Threads, but I see it like on TikTok and stuff too, like on like lives or whatever. Because there's an occultist on TikTok that I really like listening to, the Rebel Mystic. He's awesome,
I feel like
and
that name sounds familiar. Yeah.
he's really really cool. He's really knowledgeable, down to earth, really nice. He's just really cool. And
Wait a minute. I wonder if I know this guy. Let me Google him. Go ahead though.
I've been watching his lives, but because I'm watching his lives, my For You page is now just inundated with different lives of different people, like like suggestions or whatever for me to watch, and like so much of it is like,
Christian
they're like
evangelical.
setting up this like second war of like Christianity versus the witches and pagan, like, and I'm just like, are we really going to repeat this again? You know what I mean?
Look,
Like, is this really where we're at? Like, and I know that like people are going to be like, oh, it's always been like this, but now it's like people are like questioning, like, like you have people saying like it should be legal to burn people again. Like, it's weird. It's weird that like, what is that whole thing about, you're doomed to repeat the past, when you don't learn from it.
I got something to say about this. So a big problem that's going on with this is like a lot of Christian people have this myth of being oppressed, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like
Mm-hmm.
they think that they were the noble martyrs of God who was eaten by fucking lions and hated by the state of Rome. All factually incorrect. Never happened. They were tolerated quite well, actually, within Rome, which is why Rome went and fucking made Christianity the official fucking religion of the state after Rome collapsed, and they fucking continued themselves in the form of the modern Roman Church. Anyways, I gotta tone down my tone. I'm getting a little angry.
I mean, I think
Anyways,
like the Christians at first were persecuted. They were kind of looked down upon because they were a splinter
were
group
they?
from Judaism,
Were
right?
they really? Were they
We
really
don't
looked down
know
on?
for sure.
Historically, I've watched a lot of stuff on this. Historically, there's no evidence to prove that they actually were.
I'm saying
Right?
like
Jewish
maybe
people were.
within the Jewish community is what I'm thinking. Maybe within that
Mm,
original Jewish community, maybe they're like, who are these Christians? Like, they're kind of weird because we know how people are, right? But I don't know if they were persecuted like to the degree at which they claim,
no way. It didn't happen. Like that's one.
Yeah.
I've looked a lot into this. There was no historical persecution of Christians the way that they relate it, right? And they're always looking for a fight. They're
Yeah.
directly oppositional. They've always been like told they're the warriors of God and they're going to fight to make the nation of God. And they always need an enemy. They always need a target. So if it's not transsexuals and witches, it's rap music. It's rock music. Think about the Christian reaction to rock and roll music 50
Mm-hmm.
years ago and compare it to modern Christian commodification of rock and rap. Think about
I
it.
I just heard a guy on a live. He was Christian and debating people who were Christian phobic or whatever. And he was like, someone asked him, "How do you feel about Christians listening to metal music?" And he goes, "Do I think Christians should listen?" He goes, "Absolutely not." And I was like, "Oh my god."
I guess
Silly.
it's just a weird disconnect for me because my worldview is you're alive here now. Why aren't we trying to enjoy it while we're here, right?
Mm-hmm.
But instead, and that's the other thing too. Like that's what like some of the disconnect with Christianity that I don't get, because the whole idea is that God created this beautiful, wonderful, amazing planet for us to live on. If that's what you fucking believe, that your creator built this goddamn rock
Mm-hmm.
for us to live on specifically, there is no other planet in this solar system which can sustain human life. And here we are. And you are just so goddamn worried about not, like, no fucking, no eating this, and no drinking this, and no listening to that. Like, why? Limit yourself.
Some people have said that the reason for that is because they're a afterlife cult. I've heard people say, like,
Yeah.
essentially
Yeah.
what people are trying to get at is that Christians really, like, see, for them in their in the radical Christian theology, they don't see this life as like, you know how like in
Meaningful.
occultism and traditional and indigenous religions we see, right, there is divinity, there is something special about the fact that we exist, right? Life is sacred. But when your whole interpretation of your religion is that everything you do needs to be for your afterlife, or you will be put in a flaming place that really didn't exist within the original liturgy, but like, so that's what they focus on, is like, well, I have to prepare myself my entire life for my death.
Which
And
is a
so with
lot.
that in mind, when your entire life is just focused on your end of life,
Yeah. How do you
It's a
live
death
this
cult.
one?
right, people have called it a death cult. Yeah, I was going to say that originally, but I've heard other, yeah, they're so obsessed with not going to hell, which is weird because, like, if you listen to any progressive, progressive, like Anglican or whatever, or Unitarian Universalist preachers who are trying to and even secular religious scholars, who are trying to tell people, like, there is a way you can do this and not be the person that everybody is afraid and angry at. You can have this spiritual tradition, but you have to stop with this. And they're like, this is what history shows. Educated biblical scholars have read through these texts and were like, this isn't a thing, this is a thing, this is how this went, this is really how this actually happened. Hell wasn't, it's not a thing, like, it wasn't in their
Hell was invented to sell purgatory release donations, right? Because
Purgatory release donations. I want that
that's
on
the
a
best way to
t-shirt.
describe it. But like, no, you don't remember when the church was charging people for like purgatory forgiveness?
I do not recall that.
Holy shit. Yeah, like they used to charge people money to forgive them of their sins so they wouldn't have to, like, because like they came up with this idea that like all of a sudden loving God wasn't enough, and like believing in Jesus wasn't enough. You needed to confess your sins. And if you sinned, you'd have to pay for it in purgatory. So you could pay donations to the church to alleviate your purgatory time. Did you not? Yeah, look it up.
See that?
It's a whole fucking thing.
I knew this already, Catholicism and all.
Yeah.
Coming up Roman Catholic.
That's just
Yup, high
wild.
five for shared trauma bonding between Scott and I.
Wow. That's wild.
I mean, like, when you put it like this, like when you look at it sort of like you're in a death cult, and what do you do? Like, how do you talk to somebody whose entire personality is wrapped up in what happens to me when I die?
Hot
Like,
take, you can't. It's like trying to talk to somebody who's having a mental health episode and thinks that like they're gonna meet Drake or some crazy shit, right? You can't
Right.
get through to that person. Their delusion is stronger than your ability to reason with them, right? And for a lot of these people, it's not even just that their delusion is stronger than your ability to reason with them. It's that their families and their friends and their communities and their social support structures are all tied up in their religion, right?
Well,
Because they
and friends
create
are.
a
Mhm.
bubble and they remove people from society and they keep you in this like tiny little tight community. So leaving the church isn't just like
Yep.
betraying your own faith, it's leaving your friends, it's leaving your family, it's leaving your support structures. And some of those families are so deeply ingrained in the cult of Christianity that they will write their children off and no longer consider them family if they're not actively like going to church and being like a practicing member of the Catholic faith. Like
Yep.
it's truly fucking insidious.
Because they can't have them having views that are contradictory. They
Mm-hmm.
can't let people, if you let their idea is, if they let their children, their family members out into the world, you're gonna, what if you meet a drag queen, suddenly you're gonna like gay people. Well, we can't have that,
You
like,
should hope that you do.
right. um so like they keep them sheltered. They make these ridiculous movies. They even have their own movies. Like, a lot of the Christians nowadays won't let their kids watch what they call secular movies or listen to secular music.
They'll make like
They
their
have to
My
listen
own.
to they have
God.
to watch Christian movies, and they have to watch and listen to Christian music, because of ideas and free thinking and free thought, and yeah. It's disturbing, and by the way, I do want to say that, like, as a folk practitioner, I'm not necessarily sitting here saying I hate the entirety of, like, I love Christian mysticism. It's fascinating. It's funny because I love all the traditions that the church themselves tried to kill, because the church themselves during the Crusades killed many of their the monks, that lived an ascetic life. Many of them also were killed um, during, the Spanish Inquisition and stuff like that, for their heretical theories about God, and sometimes even gods.
Mhm.
Some were polytheist. Um,
Hmm.
so I love Christian mysticism because, again, it's so unlike this sort of the cults of Christianity. But it's so far removed, um, that now it's very
I
rare.
consider that practice more legit to the actual tenets of Christianity than like when you said the cult of Christianity, that threw my head for a flip because I call modern Christianity the cult of Christ because that's essentially what it is. It's
Mhm.
like cult worship of this
Yeah.
like personality figure as though he's capable of doing stuff that no other people are, right? And it's
Mhm.
interesting that you call the ascetic practices the cult of Christianity because it's much more smaller, it's much more like ritualistic and involved. But like those are like actually the practices where people are giving to charity and like fasting and like actually doing all this shit that their divine texts claim that they should be doing. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
I
fucked up.
think I think
That
another
that's
reason why, like, polytheistic worldview and monotheistic worldview doesn't always clash, like, why they always clash is because a lot of it is also really focused on the self, your relationship with one God. You
Ooh,
and
yeah.
your God.
Ugh.
That's it. No one else matters. It's like, yeah, love thy neighbor, this and that. Yeah, while you're here on earth, like, okay, like, that's fine. Like, placate people. But the only thing that matters is you and God. And the only person that can dictate your relationship with you and God is you and, yeah, and God. You know what I mean? So it's a
Oh no
very
no 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 no! Don't
personal.
forget, there's the priest involved in there.
Right. But I'm saying, like, the overall Christian kind of thing. You take all the clergy out of it, right? It's you and God. Because Quakers, they're still
Can
Christian.
you though? Like, let's be real. Can you really take the clergy out of Christianity? Because it's been inseparable from the beginning, especially with their unwillingness to like translate the original texts out of
I
Latin
think
for
you
people to be
can
able to like.
because most Christians don't go to church. Most Christians are not
What?
interacting with clergy on a regular
Yeah,
How
basis.
can you be? Oh, I
Most people
never
who are Christian
understand
that
are
is
not going to
that
modern
is
church.
Christians.
very. I mean, in Catholicism we call them. There's a name for it, but essentially,
Fairweather, you know what it
fair
is?
weather. There's
Yeah.
there's other names, but like, what do they call them? Oh,
Probates.
the Sunday Catholics.
My mother went by Cape Christian,
Cape
which
Christian.
was Cape Christian. They went to church on Christmas, the
Yeah.
Ascension,
Oh my God! And Easter,
Pentecost, and
yeah.
Easter.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that is very, very common. Yeah, and you know, that's another thing. But I think Jay, and you can correct me if I'm wrong. Are you getting at the fact that a lot of the sort of, I guess we can call it like the modern radicalized Christianity that we have, whatever words, but are you talking about how like it almost like the theology almost makes you selfish?
Yes, that is what
Is
I'm
that
saying.
kind of,
Exactly. So
yeah?
the theology is
I
self-centered. It's centered
Yeah.
on you and God. No one, nothing else matters. And so you have a sort of polytheistic worldview. This god interacts with this god. If Hera needs help with something, she needs to deliver a message. She's going to say, "Hey, Hermes, deliver this message." Or, as I understand it, that Iris was Hera's personal messenger, right? And so, "Hey, Iris, deliver." You know what I mean? Like, there's interactions between these different gods. They have different areas at which they govern, and they must work together. They have to. Whereas, and that sort of like translates to humans, right? We understand we must work together to survive. We must work together to complete the mission, whatever it is, right? Whereas in Christianity, it's nope, you and God. That's all you need. You don't need anyone the fuck else. All you need is you and God. And I think that's a huge disconnect because as humans, as human society, we must work together. We can't just have God. That's not enough to
I also
function on this
suppose
planet.
I don't really have a understanding of American Christianity so much as I understand like Christianity as it applies in Canada.
Mm. Yeah, a lot of American Christian people that I know, they do not go to church. They're just Christian because that's what I grew up with, and that's what I'll stick with. And I guess I'll do a prayer every now and then, when
I
shit
I
gets
don't
rough.
know if this is like something from how I was raised. I never understood that, right? I was always like, my family's always like, yeah, we're Catholic. We're gonna take you to fucking church every Sunday. Oh, you're gonna go to catechism too. You're gonna be a registered member of the Catholic Church. You have to read the Bible. You have to go to fucking Bible camp. Like it's
Mm.
tiring how involved you are in your religion, right?
Mm-hmm.
And here's another good example: people who falsely claim to be indigenous or even like actually are indigenous and claim connection to the culture, but then don't actually like really practice anything or like have any real ties, like
Or
they'll
pass any
they'll say
knowledge
it
on.
for, yeah, they'll say it for the clout of being viewed as that thing without actually like being from a community that accepts them. You know what I mean? I feel like that's kind of similar vein, right? Like people in modern society very often have an intense desire to be seen as something
Mm.
that they don't want to put in the work or the time or the effort to understand in a nuanced and complete way.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, that's a lot of people here. A lot of people claim I'm Irish, right? I'm Irish ancestry. What does that mean?
Well,
That means I can drink you under the table. And well, no, that's not really what that means.
a lot of that I see is coming from people wanting an identity, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because like
That's all we
nobody
all want.
wants to be an American, nobody
No.
wants to be a Canadian. Those are like settler colonial titles within like states that exist to occupy land for like white people. When you say I'm a Canadian, what you're essentially saying is that you agree with the settler colonial state and you're happy to be a willing participant in it, right? Which is why I've always like really fucking taken a step back from anybody who's proud of like being Canadian or American,
I
right?
have kind of noticed
Um,
that in my language. Like, I usually don't say I'm American. I'll usually just say, like, I'm from the US or, like,
Yeah,
like
because who wants to be an American? Who wants to
yeah,
be a fucking Canadian, right?
yeah,
Like, I don't
ugh.
want to be part of a settler colonial state that uses me as a wedge against other people who are more indigenous than me. Like, it's a whole bunch of bullshit, and it sucks. And I think it devalues and debases people, right? And so that's why you have people looking to reach back to something slightly further back. And you'll have someone say, "Oh, I'm Irish," even though they've never spoken Gaelic or set foot in Ireland, right? But they're from Irish descent and
Right.
they're diaspora in that sense. And I understand that, right? Because we live in such pain and emotional strife in the modern setting as like colonized individuals, because like, let's be real, if you're living in colonial society, you've been fucking colonized at one point or another. Sorry, not sorry. And we're just like, we're suffering here and we want better, but we don't get better. And like, I understand why somebody wants to step away from identifying as that and be like, no, fuck that. I'm not Canadian, I'm American, or I'm not American, I'm
I'm
British, or like
Irish.
whatever they want to fucking say.
Nah, no
Yeah.
one wants to be
It's
British.
because
I've realized. So Rue's got me a little bit into Doctor Who. I've been watching some Doctor
uh
Who, and so the what is it? Capaldi is the current Doctor that we're watching. He's a Scottish dude, and it was just funny because I was like, man, I realize everyone hates the British, like the British, the English, because like he's a Scottish dude and he was just like ripping on. He's like, oh, you sound so English, and you sound so English, and I'm like, man, everyone just really hates the Brits. So honestly, fuck the British Empire. Uh, fuck them.
fuck every empire, fuck any colonization efforts, fuck any effort to divorce people from the lands that they're from or the traditions that they had or the cultures that they lived or the languages they spoke, because they're all inexorably tied to our fundamental human right to know who the fuck we are and where we come from and be a part of a people, right? And we don't get to have that anymore. And there's a massive fucking empty hole in all of us who don't have that. So I see why the Italian American says, I'm Italian, you know? I can
Mm-hmm.
see why the Irish American says, I'm Irish, right? Because it's a step towards an identity that's not centered in colonialism and consumption. And it's an effort to reclaim and remember that they came from somewhere that's older and stronger and more legit, that capitalism and colonialism had to attack, had to take them out of, had to supplant, had to lie.
It's a
It had to
shame.
do everything in its power to steal that from you, and people want it back,
Yeah, it's
you
a shame
know?
because like we had the potential for that first like us European and Native American, like that first like there was so much potential for that to go a completely different fucking way.
There's still a lot of potential for it to go a completely
Right.
different way, I'll
And
say.
it can, and it's and the issue is like a lot of like how I said before is like Native Americans, at least when I was growing up in school, they focused a lot on like they kind of made it seem like they didn't exist anymore, kind of thing. And I'm
Of
like,
course.
I mean, but they do, you know what I mean? No, like those huge cities and obviously all of those settlements, no, that those do not exist anymore, but the people still do. So there was this weird disconnect. I'm hoping schools are doing better now, but I've haven't heard positive things on the internet, so I don't know.
No, schools are falling apart.
Yeah, so that's another problem. We might just have to start opening our own schools.
I mean,
Um,
we don't even want to address the genocide happening and the land occupation
right.
happening in Palestine, let alone fucking like
I feel
acknowledging what happened here to set up shit.
I wish that
Mhm.
we had the money to pay Weird Al to play his song Christmas at Ground Zero, because what a song, right? Like what a song that kind of just gets. My sister mentioned this to me. She's like, this song gets more and more real every year, and I don't know how to cope with that.
Which
I'm like,
song?
Weird Al, he has a Christmas song out. It's Christmas at Ground Zero. Look it up. I can't play it here because copyright infringement.
God,
But look it up. Um, it's a wild ride.
interesting.
Yeah.
I do have to skedaddle because I have to get ready to leave because they're coming at 4.
Yep, we're gonna wrap
Yeah,
up here
we're
in a couple
also
minutes.
pushing late. We're an hour and a half deep.
Yeah.
All right.
Hour and 15.
So just real quick, so I can wrap up my thoughts. Let me see. What do I want to say? Oh, if you're interested in reading more about what me and Sophia talking kind of directly to our listeners, but everyone obviously, about what we were talking about the myth of persecution. There is a book literally titled "The Myth of Persecution: How Early Christians Invented a Story of Martyrdom" by Kenita Moss.
Yeah, that's the one.
It's a great book. Academics loved it. She did a lot of research. She spent years on it. It's awesome. If you're interested, there are some people who interviewed her on YouTube, who were themselves academics or academically related YouTube channels that are, interested in cited works. What else? Oh, this too, reclaiming. So speaking for the white people, reclaiming your personal indigeneity and deconstructing also helps to break this idea of whiteness. When you deconstruct and reclaim your own indigeneity, you start to realize how whiteness doesn't exist. It's a tactic. It's a trick. And I think that I think one of the big reasons why many European people kind of push back on us reclaiming it is because I think a lot of them don't understand whiteness in America. It is a very the way it is. It's everywhere because racism is everywhere, but
white does not equal racist.
American whiteness is very distinct.
Yeah, it's like just white does not equal racist, and that's sort of like the vibe in America, maybe.
I think that
or the assumption.
whiteness. Maybe I don't know. I'm just trying to say that deconstruct, reclaim your indigeneity, and I guess care about other people.
I'm gonna give a quote just on that quick topic from an elder I met. There's however many billion people on this planet. Apparently only, I don't know, 10% of them are indigenous. I got a real question for you. What happened to the other 90% of the people and where'd they come from?
Right.
So, yep. And what else? Oh, I also wanted to say to everybody, Happy Yule. Happy Saturnalia, even though that passed. And if you celebrate, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. You know the drill.
The whole thing. Love you, Scott.
Love
Big
you.
hugs
Love you
and
guys.
kisses.
Have happy times if
Will
you
do.
can.
Yes.
I love you. I'll talk to you all soon. Mwah.
Mwah.
Bye.
And then we were back to 3. That was really nice. I'm so glad that Scott was able to
That's a happy.
Yeah.
It's a
jump in.
Christmas miracle.
Christmas miracle. That's like a cryptid.
We're all cryptid-esque at this point.
Yeah. We just appear on Sundays on the internet and then we fade away until next Sunday. Any concluding thoughts from anyone? Because we're a little bit over an hour. I know we got to get these presents ready to go over to Rue's mom's for our little Christmas Eve
I'll
pot
say
roast.
2 final thoughts here. One, remember that you're indigenous and that you come from a culture and that you don't need to appropriate other people's cultures to be able to live your own. I don't care if someone says you're just diaspora or you're just an American Irish. That's still where you come from. That's still your people. Fuck those people. Hard take from me right here. No person who's been colonized and assimilated should have to be forced to agree with their colonial state or identity or have to embody it as such, right? If someone's Irish, just because their family was colonized fucking however long ago, doesn't mean they can't access Irish spirituality. That's how I see it, right? Like, you shouldn't be placing yourself above the people who've been doing it the whole goddamn time, obviously, but don't be like don't be like thinking the answer is to take somebody else's culture, right? It's yours. And like, if you don't know where you come from, because a lot of people don't, we have another solution we need to do. It's not enough to send everybody back to where they come from to look into those things like we should. We have to acknowledge the fact that some people have been cut off from their cultures and can't go back and make something new for them. I don't get why this has been such a fucking issue, right? Like, John Trudell talked about it way back in the day, like needing to make the hallucination, which is like a society that acknowledges being human and re-indigenizes. And I'm probably fucking explaining this poorly, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think that it's fair for us to expect cultures that are already stretched past the point of breaking, like ones that have gone through colonialism. It's unfair to expect them to have to take on all of those people who are coming back for old traditions.
Mm-hmm.
We 100% need to make something new to move forward. We can't keep fucking just thinking it's a binary choice of like, go back to the old way it used to be or do exactly what we were doing now. We always have had the ability to make a new world. We've always had the ability to bring ourselves together and identify as a people and make cultures and traditions among ourselves and have that be who we are. We've done it since time immemorial. We need to do it again.
Mm-hmm.
Our world is falling apart. Colonialism and white supremacy gave us just a fucking tower of cards, and everything is collapsing. And we don't need to follow the script. We can flip it. We can understand that we come from a people and a place. And those of us, like I said, who don't have access to that, we can come together and build something for all of us.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't exclude anybody, that doesn't forces anybody to act and live and think in a colonized way, that doesn't center whiteness, that doesn't center all of the bullshit that goes along with it. We have the ability to do it. We just need to start walking towards it. And for what it's worth, I think a lot of people are already taking those steps.
Mm-hmm.
So with that said, I'll get off my soapbox and just say, fuck colonialism, fuck the state, fuck white supremacy, fuck Elon Musk, fuck Jeff Bezos, fuck Biden, fuck Trump, fuck Trudeau, fuck the conservatives, fuck the liberals, fuck everybody who prioritizes money over human life and dignity. That's my fucking last statement for the year.
Fuck them all.
Very on brand for the holiday spirit, right? Because we all know the story of Scrooge and, share that money, bitch.
If I could be a fucking wretched ghost that would go around and terrorize billionaires, I'd be so happy. I would be the banshee in their halls, screaming, bringing them to their knees, weeping in terror.
That's your
It would be
calling.
delightful.
Your calling for the afterlife.
No, my calling for the afterlife is to be nowhere near human affairs because I'm fucking done with this world.
Yeah,
and
you're
already
like, I'm
put in
out.
enough.
I did my time. Y'all are let you do you for
I
a while.
didn't need to be here. Y'all sent me back to help out, and I understand. I agreed to it. You asked me. It was part of the fucking thing. Don't expect me to fucking hang around here when my job is done. Shit.
Exactamundo. Alrighty, everyone.
Fucking off, man.
We're gonna get
Catch
out of
me
here.
in the spirit world.
We're gonna
Till
get out of here
next year.
We're not gonna go to the spirit world, not yet. But we are going to be in the holiday spirit.
Oh.
Yeah, okay, I'll say one last thing. The final statement of the year. If death was that bad, everybody wouldn't do it.
That's interesting. Anyway.
If death was really that bad, everybody wouldn't die.
Wasn't really? Wait, what?
If death was awful, or sorry, like what I'm saying is death isn't really that bad. Otherwise, everybody wouldn't do it. How could a fundamental? No, I mean, how could a fundamental part of life cycle be bad? Is birth bad?
No.
Sometimes.
Is an umbilical cord bad?
Sometimes. Sometimes it tries to kill you on the way out.
But my point being, right?
Yeah.
if it was that bad, we wouldn't all die. It wouldn't be hard baked into the fucking system, right?
Oh, you mean like,
I
yeah,
get-
no, I know what you're saying, yeah, because both events are traumatic. Birth is traumatic. That's why we don't remember like the
course.
act of like coming out into the world, right? You know what I mean? Like we don't remember. It's so fucking traumatic.
Well, neuroscience is complicated. It's
Yeah.
There's trauma, there's like neurological development and memory. I'm not a doctor.
Right, and it's not like when you're a baby and you pop out, you don't have the ability to be like, "Wow, that was fucked up." Like you don't. That's probably why you're crying, because you're like, "Ah, that was fucked up." But you can't say that. And so then, but then death is the other trauma and great mystery, right? Because you go through this
I
thing.
think we cry when we're born.
It's cold.
Because we're back. No, because we're back here and we know it, and we know it's gonna come with it, and we thought we were free of this shit. Really, tell me, after you die and come back and you manage to spend time in the spirit world, you mean to tell me you wouldn't be the least bit sad that you're forced into existing on this fucking planet with this fucking system and this level of human misery? I'm just saying.
When I go
that's
through,
probably why they're crying. They
when
know
I
where
go
they
through
are.
my next reincarnation, I'll text you and I'll let you know.
You send me a spirit pigeon. It's more reliable.
Spirit pigeon. Yes,
Yeah.
I will send you a spirit pigeon, and I will let you know how my next
when
birth
I'm in the
goes.
Spirit world. Yeah, I'll appreciate that.
Anyway, everyone, make sure you text us in the astral, in your next reincarnation. We want to know how it went. Let us know what you are now. So, with that, have a good holiday. Enjoy.
Wait, I just got a text. Hang on.
Is it from God?
Henry Kissinger. No, it's Henry Kissinger.
Shut the fuck up.
He's a worm.
Anyway, Merry.
Till next time.
Whatever, everybody. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.